Hello and welcome to this edition of Robb's Review, The Bottom Line. I'm Fulton County Commissioner Robb Pitts. Today's show will focus on Fulton County's Jail Dog Program, a program dedicated to reducing recidivism and improving the lives of inmates while saving dogs from euthanasia. For several years, I've been interested in alternative sentencing for Fulton County inmates, not only to save taxpayers money, but to address recidivism reduction and rehabilitation. So when I was approached by Kristen Tartara of Big House Dogs about an innovative program to teach inmates responsibility and accountability by training sheltered dogs, I visited the Gwinnett County Jail to learn about their jail dog program and to find out the details. I was so impressed with Gwinnett's program and its positive impact, not only on the inmates, but also on man's best friend, that I then introduced legislation supporting such a program in Fulton County. So in 2012, the Fulton County Board of Commissioners approved the implementation of the Jail Dog Program in the Fulton County Jail. This innovative program is a cooperative effort between Sheriff Ted Jackson's office and a nonprofit organization called K9 Cellmates. So today, Deputy Sheriff Lieutenant Colonel Thaddeus Lee of the Fulton County Sheriff's Office and Susan Jacobs-Meadows, founding director of K9 Cellmates, will inform us about this program when we return to Robb's Review, The Bottom Line. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Robb's Review, The Bottom Line. I have with me today Deputy Sheriff Lieutenant Colonel Thaddeus Lee of the Fulton County Sheriff's Office and founding director Susan Jacobs-Meadows of K9 Cellmates. Later on, we will also hear from Mario, a Fulton County inmate, and his dog Nico Keratosis, who are part of Fulton County's Jail Dog Program. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
All right, Susan, let's start with you. How did you get involved in the program?
I heard about jail dogs programs and was interested. I've spent a lot of time in Atlanta working in animal rescue, and this had an appeal to me, and I wanted to see it in Fulton County Jail.
All right, so what's the mission of the program?
The mission is to improve the lives of inmates through teaching them compassion, responsibility, accountability, letting them experience unconditional love, and at the same time saving dogs from Fulton County Animal Services that almost certainly would have been euthanized otherwise.
Now, are you involved with any other similar programs, either locally or nationally?
Not at this time.
This is it?
This is it.
So how have you found the program to be so far?
Well, this is our first cycle, so it's been
Really?
a challenge to implement, a new culture for the jail, a brand new program for us, but I have to say that where we are today, that any difficulties are immediately forgotten when I step inside the walls of that annex and see the effect that this program is having on the inmates. And the dogs are responding so incredibly well.
I mean, what do you say to people when you say, well, this is just another gimmick, you know, where these do-gooders, animal lovers trying to find something to do with their time?
Really, that's not what it's about.
Okay.
And I've actually had to remind some of my volunteers about this a couple of times, that this program isn't just about the dogs. We're all dog lovers, so we want to save them all. But this program is about helping people that have lived outside the norms of society, take responsibility and ownership, work toward a goal, get there, experience the magical power of the unconditional love of a dog. It changes people, and we're already seeing it in these guys. We're already seeing it. It's
What are you
a beautiful
seeing so
thing.
far?
What have we seen so far? I'll tell you the very first day, something that I saw that was magical to me was that Mr. Herron, who's the Director of Medical Services at Fulton County Jail and was very instrumental in getting this program put into place, after the cameras quit rolling and the press dispersed among the groups of dogs so that they could start, getting close-up shots, et cetera. Mr. Herron and I stepped back toward the back, and we were just watching and taking it in. And Mr. Herron said to me, "Look, they're already people again. When they arrive at the jail, they're people. When they step inside the walls of the jail and they put on that jumpsuit, they turn into an inmate, and they shut down emotionally. They develop a different sort of outlook on life. But look, it's only been 20 minutes and their people again. And that was just the first step, and it was a beautiful thing to see.
What about the volunteers? Where do you get your volunteers?
Everywhere we can. We have a core group of certified trainer volunteers, but we have 8 different teams. This is a pretty comprehensive program, and it takes a lot of people to make it happen. And we reached out ourselves initially, but now we have a Facebook page that has about 2,400 likes on it. It's very active. People are very engaged in it, and we have a dozen or more people a week that step up and want to be a part of this program. And I can tell you that our volunteers and our sponsors have both said how much it has meant to them already to be a part of watching this change that's happening.
And who are the sponsors?
Our food sponsor is Red Bandana. They provide all of our food. We have training treat sponsors. As you can imagine, training treats are pretty important to this training program. And that's Lose a Finger Training Treats and also Big Daddy Biscuits. Far Road Animal Hospital sponsors us for all flea and heartworm preventative, which is an important thing. And we work in conjunction with Lifeline Animal Project, who now has the contract for Fulton County Animal Services. They do all of the pre-work prior to bringing the dogs into the program, but at this point they also back us up with veterinary care as we need it for the dogs that are in the program.
So how are you able to tell whether the program is working? Now, I'm not really clear on that.
How do we know if it's working?
Yes.
Well, the dogs are being trained.
Okay.
And the dogs have made amazing progress. The guys are changing, and you can see it. If you go down there, and I'd love to take you down there again since you were there the first day, you can see the change in the guys. There's a maturity that we didn't see at first. There's a pride in looking at what they have done. There's a beautiful bond between these guys and these dogs, so it's working.
So the inmates are with their dog on a 24-hour basis?
They are. And we have formal training sessions 7 days a week that are led by certified trainers.
And I know when I was there, I saw there was seemed like a huge manual. And was that a manual
they have a comprehensive training manual.
And the volunteers train them on what and how they would do what they do?
The trainers are not there to train the dogs. The trainers are there to train the inmate handlers to train the dogs. And that's true of any training environment with dogs. The trainers, unless you hand your dog off to someone for 2 weeks or whatever, the trainer's actually training you so that you can train your dog, and that's what's happening there at the annex.
So walk me through that. What does a volunteer do?
Well, it depends on what volunteer team they're on.
Okay.
We have 8 different teams of volunteers, everything from a marketing team to a fundraising team to an event planning team, a canine transport team, an adoption coordination team.
But on the team that works directly with the inmates,
what do they do?
Yeah, what does that volunteer
They
do?
show up at the appointed times. We have scheduled classes. We have a lead trainer who is in charge of what training is going to happen that day. We may have 1 or 2 other certified trainers, and we have training assistants. And they walk through specific exercises. The training assistants step in and work one-on-one with the individual teams so that they can reinforce the positive things and correct where they're going wrong and answer questions for the guys. And so that's what happens.
So you haven't had any trouble recruiting volunteers?
We could always use more certified trainers.
Okay.
But other volunteers, no, we've been very happy with the response that we've gotten
Right.
from
How does one become a certified trainer?
I'm not a trainer, so I can't answer that
Okay.
specifically, but there's a curriculum that they have to go through, then there's a specific kinds of tests that they have to pass, et cetera, in order to be certified.
But so anyone who's out there who is obviously you'd have to be presumably a dog lover, they would find out about how you go about becoming certified and
Right.
then
Right.
submit their qualifications?
Right.
Okay, so you're thrilled with the program so far.
Yes.
What's next for the program, the organization?
What's next? Well, we're about ready to start selecting our next group of dogs. And that is done through a process of temperament assessment. These dogs all come from Fulton County Animal Services under the direction of Lifeline. And we do a thorough temperament assessment of each dog before we place them in the program. And there are people, we have people that are knowledgeable about how to do that. It's a pretty comprehensive test, and what we're looking for is dog aggression, people aggression, any specific fear issues that present themselves in a perhaps threatening way, or what's called resource guarding, which is a dog that is extremely protective of its food or its toys or its place or whatever. And we're ruling those dogs out. There's a place for them. It isn't that we want to see them be euthanized. It's just that our program is not the place for dogs who have those kinds of issues. One, there's a lot of liability to put a dog that has issues like that into this jail environment. And two, there's a lot of liability in adopting them out. A prison is a great place to work with a dog like that. But in an 8-week intensive training program like we have, the dogs all have to pass these specific temperament tests and be well suited for that environment.
Okay, great. All right, when we return, we will talk with Deputy Sheriff Lieutenant Colonel Thaddeus Lee and more from Susan Jacobs-Meadows. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Robb's Review, The Bottom Line. We're talking with Lieutenant Colonel Thaddeus Lee and Susan Jacobs-Meadows. Please tell me, Colonel,
Yes.
how's the program going so far?
At this present time, the program is operating marvelous. The inmates are very enthused about working with the canines. The staff is very enthused of what is going on within the setting of the canine program. So things are looking really up.
So how are the inmates chosen?
We first go into our classification section.
What does that mean?
For us, the inmates that are housed at the jail, we look and see what their charges are, see what their portfolio is for the background, and we look and see of those that fits the script of what Miss Susan Meadows Jacobs is asking for the.
And what would that be? I mean,
one that is temperament, caring individuals, ones that is showing some expression to actually work with the animals, work with the canines, and so we took that apart, and then we went into the portfolio of the inmates to look at those that have less charges that would be more acceptable to the program. And so with that, with the collaboration with Miss Susan Jacobs-Meadows, we was able to pull about 12 inmates to fit the script of working with the canines.
so of all the inmates in the system right now, only 12, I mean, were.
Well, actually, we have more, but
Okay.
since we were starting out with about 10 canines, we selected the first 12 individuals that fit the requirements that we sought. So right now, we're working, as she says, working on the next phase of the animals, as well as the selection of the next inmates to work with the animals.
Okay. And how are you able to determine that it's working? That's what I'm not clear on.
Well, the actual test will be with the animals themselves through the training that they'll perform with the canines. We'll see what interest the individuals have put forth, their ambition, their goals, and especially their love for the animals. So the test will be right at the graduation phase of these animals when they go for adoption.
And then go ahead, I'm sorry.
We're also looking at with the turnout of these inmates that it'll help with the recidivism, that for the training and the certification that they will receive, that it will give them some tools that will allow them when they return back to society to help them with some employment or even some entrepreneurship.
Now, what does that mean? Because most people, many people will say, the skeptics will say, well, this is another feel-good program, and what skills can someone learn by, training a dog that's going to help them get a job when
Well, as far as, and Miss Susan Jacobs-Meadows can help me with it, but as far as the skills and the training that the individuals will learn through their study materials, the DVDs and other tools that they have put in place, that if an individual decides to want to go into their own business or work perhaps within a shelter, animal shelter, whether they want to go work at an animal hospital, they'll have something that will be a part of this portfolio that they will be able to seek employment and gainful employment at that.
Is that
We have gotten approval from Fulton County Jail that if, when we finish a cycle and graduate a group of dogs.
What's
if-
a cycle?
It's an 8-week training cycle,
Okay.
and that's when they,
So
at
you'll
the end
turn
of 8
over
weeks.
the inmates after every
well,
8 weeks, or
the dogs,
the dogs rather?
right? But we've gotten approval from Fulton County Jail that if after a graduation, that if inmates that are currently in the program have enough time remaining at Fulton County Jail, that they can stay, which is a wonderful thing for us. We're very happy about that because the greater benefit is in repeating the cycle, starting again with a whole new challenge, taking that challenge all the way through to the end, but it also improves their skill set. If an inmate is fortunate enough, in our opinion, to stay long enough to go through 3 cycles, they've established a pretty good skill set. And we have a couple of inmates in the program right now that have displayed a great affinity for being able to do this and expressed an interest in it. Mario is one of them who is very intuitive with his skills, and we feel confident that if he can stay through 2 or 3 cycles, that we can assist him in getting a job, which is a wonderful thing.
So a cycle is 8 weeks, and you would consider 3 cycles to be the ideal situation.
That's what we would love to see,
Okay.
yes.
And so that means it'd be ideally no turnover. You'd have the same guys. And by the way,
That's what we
what
hope
I
for.
saw, they're all males. Is there a reason for that? I didn't see any
Well,
females.
based on the housing that we have set up, there's a male dormitory, and that if it becomes a future investment for us, the females, then we have to have a separate housing, which we go into a little bit more in details of arrangements and accommodations.
What is this costing us, since you mentioned the investment?
Actually, it is costing the taxpayers nothing. This
How
is
can
all,
that be?
all nonprofit, and through the donations and the contributions that have been made through the outside resources and the community, the sponsors that have been afforded to the K-9 Cellmate program. It's been $0 spent as far as the Fulton County, as well as the Sheriff's Office, as well as the community or the taxpayers.
And how many inmates are involved now?
Right now, we currently have 6. We started out with 10. Some were released, so therefore we're in the rebuilding stages to maintain a status of about 12 inmates on each cycle.
Okay. And again, if there's 3 cycles would be ideal.
3 cycles would be ideal, even for the individual, the inmate that is working with the K-9. It'll reassure them and give them, again, building confidence of what they're doing and how they can educate the other inmates that come in as they recidivate through the program. It would help them gain that confidence and knowledge that will show that they can, they would be worthy to go out and get a job and obtain a good work status.
Okay, now I've seen the facility where all of this takes place, but can you describe it?
Yeah, okay, this is a little bit different of a jail setting. It is a dormitory, actually, where there is an open dorm, and the inmates that are housed there, they are pretty much in an open area, free movement. The K-9s actually are housed there in the dormitory as well with them on a 24-hour basis, 7 days a week, so they get a chance to interact pretty thorough with the individuals and the K-9s. And everything is working really well with the program overall.
Now, is the space that you currently have big enough so that if another, 10 or 12 inmates qualify, they'll be able to be housed in the same place?
If it was determined, we can increase up to at least about 40 additional inmates, yes. However, it'll be dependent on the animal shelter that will be able to provide the animals through their what is it called? The
Lifeline?
lifeline, yes. That they would need to identify the K-9s that were qualified to be able to come and be a part of the program. So we can produce the inmates. It'll just be the animals that would also have to be reviewed and sent to the program.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would think that finding more dogs would not be a problem.
There's always dogs. There's always dogs. We will have to be, if we expand the program, and obviously you want to get good at what you're doing and you want to grow. But we will have to have a great deal more public awareness because then every 8 weeks you would have 40 dogs that you would have to get adopted. Okay. So everybody in the Atlanta area would have to know about us.
Well, this is going to help. I'll take a break. When we return to Robb's Review, The Bottom Line, we will hear from my man, Mario, who is an inmate who's been working with the program, and his dog, Nico Keratosis. I gave him the name Keratosis. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Robb's Review, The Bottom Line. And before we end today's show, I would like for you all to hear from Mario and Nico, Mario's dog, Nico Keratosis, who is currently in the K-9 Cellmate program, and Sergeant Carlin Stokes, who oversees the K-9 Cellmate program on a daily basis. So thank both of you for being here today. Now let's start with you, Mario. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, sir.
All right. Now tell me, how are you enjoying the program?
Sir, I'm making it, sir. It's wonderful being able to work with a dog. I grew up with him all my life, and I really never even trained him or anything. But now I'm getting a chance to train him and work with him. I just had pit bulls tied up to a tree and just leave me back up. Yes, sir, because I didn't know how to train him. But now this dog is so smart. He does pretty much everything. He like to rock and roll. When he come out of his crate, he like to rock and roll. So I train him every day. It's like 7 days a week. It's a blessing, sir.
So I remember the first time I saw you and Nico, but y'all seem to have really grown close together. Is that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. At first, I was talking to Miss Susan. I really didn't want to let him go because I done grown attached to him. So she was telling me that by me letting him go, I can get a chance to work with another dog. Because we're saving dogs. These dogs was about to get killed. It was about to euthanize them. So
And
right
you
now,
pronounce that word better than I do.
We've been saying it so much, sir.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was about to get euthanized, sir. And right now, my heart just really goes out. I want to help as many dogs as I can.
Do you think the program is really helping you? I mean, just tell me truthfully now.
I mean, honest to God, sir, it is.
In
It's
what
giving
way?
me compassion, giving me responsibility. Because these dogs, we don't just keep them and feed them, sir. We give them medicine, deworm them. If he has the runoff, a stool, anything, or does it in his crate, we have to clean it up.
That's your
That's my responsibility. He sleeps by my bed. Yes, sir. He sleeps by my bed. Whatever he does, I'm responsible for him.
All right, now tell me about the training. Is this?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's training manual. Like we're training them. Pretty much, I think it's the CGC, and we're training them just to be home ready to be ready to go into your home, and I'm talking about whatever you tell them to do. Go to his place, or sit, stay down, not jumping on you. That's what I'm working on him with now, because he's a jumper. He likes to jump up a little bit, but. As far as everything else, he's doing good. Nico, off.
All right,
off.
now, hold it, Nico. Let's.
Don't jump on the slack, right?
Yeah.
Well, other than that, Mr. Pierce, it's a good program. I'm training him everything, sir. It's 8 weeks, so by the time I'm through training, he should have everything down pat.
So would you encourage other inmates to assuming they can qualify for the program, to participate in the program?
Yes, sir. I would really much love. If it's okay with Mr. Stokes and Mr. Turner and Mr. Adger, I would like to come back. I would like to come back to when I'm released. I would like to come back and volunteer so I can help some young dudes, because we got some young dudes in the program now. They're rebellious, and by me being
in this program.
Yeah, I'm talking about they're not. They're thinking. They're thinking. So by me being in there, I've been through a lot. By me being there, able to talk to them and just leading by example, they might change somebody's life, sir. And I want to do it.
That's wonderful. Okay, Sergeant, soon to be Lieutenant Stokes.
Yes, sir.
Tell me about Mario and because you are working with these guys on a daily basis.
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes, sir. Mr. Barber, when he first came to the program, a little rough on the edges. But this K-9 program is about the best thing that's happened to Fulton County Sheriff's Office in a while. I see inmates come in a little rough with a little attitude, but when they come and deal with these dogs, it makes them human again. It makes them feel that they have a responsibility. It gives them a purpose. Of course, it makes our job easier. And Mr. Barber has been a leader in that program because, like he said, we had a few young guys that come in there, but Mr. Barber has showed them the way of this is just not something to do to pass your time away. You know, this is something that they can use this skill to go on and use once they get out. You know, they can have some other things to do. You know, give them another purpose, another cause, another reason, you know, to do some things and not come back to jail. So the program is helping the inmates as well as the dog, as well as the recipient of the dog. You know, he's teaching the dog how to sit, roll over, crawl, jump up on a crate, and marvelous things. So it's a win-win situation for all parties involved.
That's fantastic. This is a great program, and I'm really, really proud of what you guys are doing and what Susan and her group's doing, what all of the volunteers are doing. Fulton County's Jail Dog program is truly a great program, and as you've heard, it is beneficial not only to the inmates, but also to man's best friend, Nico. The inmates will learn about responsibility and accountability, and with the training provided to the dogs by the inmate, a possible home. So, go online to k9cellmates.org to fill out an adoption application. Till next time, this is Robb's Review, The Bottom Line.